Well, I'm inside of a Windows environment. That can only mean one thing. We're going to be switching to Linux. Now, today, what I'm going to be focusing on is PikaOS. I have been extremely just amazed. I did my video where it was the first look, right? I go in blind. I have a little bit of information. I don't know how accurate that information is, but we're going to kind of take a look and see what we've got. And then I go ahead and play with the operating system for a couple of days, couple of weeks, just kind of depends on how I feel about it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. One, really confused as to why Grammarly's opening up. Two, um, I've been very happy with it. I definitely think that like everybody wants to do, Linux Mint for new users, but I think that PikaOS is the perfect place to start off new users. I think that it is just everything that Linux can possibly be, all inside of one lovely package. We have the Pika kernel, which is based off of the CachyOS kernel with a few modifications. We have the ability for game modes and having custom protons and all of that. We'll get into all of that here in this video. But first things first, what we need to do is remember to click that subscribe button and turn on the bell. So this week, anyways, we're going to go to Rufus, rufus.ie. So rufus.ie. This is going to be the first piece of software that we're going to need. We're going to scroll down to this download section and find Rufus 4.9. Your version will likely be different unless you're installing around the same time frame as this video. We're going to go with the Windows x64. Go ahead and click and download on that. And then the next thing that we're going to need at the wiki.pika-os.com. All right. And then what we're going to do is from this home screen, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down a little bit and look at this. We have a beautiful GNOME environment. I hate GNOME environments, but maybe I'll give it a shot and we'll do a video on that. And then we have the KDE environment. Now, if you notice here, we have standard ISO and NVIDIA ISO. There's also a handheld. And I asked, and I think I understood that they're just trying to work out a few bugs. They may have been responding to somebody else. I've been inside of their Discord. These people are fantastic to talk to. If you have Discord, join their Discord. Everybody is friendly. I haven't had any of the issues that I've had in other Discord servers with other distributions where it's too busy for people to not say anything or people respond very rudely to you. The people in that Discord are just lovely to talk to. I am very excited about this project when we have people that are like that. I'm going to go with the standard ISO. That's going to be anything that is under the RTX 1650. It's right here in red. NVIDIA ISO should only be used for NVIDIA RTX cards and GTX 1650 or later. GTX 1080 Ti and earlier should use the regular ISO. That's also going to apply to if you have an AMD card. So we're going to go with the standard ISO in my situation, and we're going to go ahead and download that. And then while that downloads, I'll be right back. Now, this is one thing real quick. I wanted to take a look at the people because when I had first heard about the project, I had heard about it from some other people that used PikaOS, and I had heard that it was like a solo dev had been working on it. So that I was inaccurate at. Granted, I was doing a first look, so I'm going in pretty much blind, taking, what I see at face value, kind of going with what information I kind of have, similar to the context that one of you might actually go with. I realized that provides inaccuracy. I had somebody that was upset by it, so I'm mentioning it real quick here. This is Linux. Linux is very much so word of mouth. I wouldn't have known about this unless I had I think it was 4 comments. I went back and counted after the video. I think it was 4 comments saying I should try PikaOS. So I'm gonna butcher this name, but this person is the one that I've spoken actually to the most out of what's on the dev team. This is Firo or Ferio. I don't know. then Cosmo. And then I scrolled down. We have these wonderful people, and then Matt's Creative on the secondary team. I'm very familiar with Matt's Creative. In fact, actually, I went into their Discord. I hadn't looked at this yet because I had actually been at work when I had a chance to do it. So then at my downtime at work, I was like, hey, let's take a look at these people because I want to do a video, involving, this project today. I want to show people how to install, the distro, and do kind of the first video out of the 3 like I do with the other distros. So there's that. And then we have, other people. So we've got a nice, lovely team here of 7 people that are working on this. And it's well put together, minus the one complaint that I have, which is during the install process. We'll get to it. It's a pet peeve of mine. I think it would help to improve that experience. I don't know if they plan on doing anything. They don't have to take my opinion on jack diddly squat. But looking forward to go back to it, that handheld option. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out. And we're going to go down here to our Windows folder. Most people will have it in the same spot. I've worked on thousands of consumer desktops. People that bring them into the repair shop when I used to work in repair. Everybody's got the folder file explorer here. If you don't have it, go to where you've got it. We're going to go to downloads and be confused as to why. Give me a second. Let me correct that. I don't know why Rufus didn't download. Rufus didn't download. I don't know what you're talking about. It's right here. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and double click on Rufus. Click yes. All right. So same thing. If you've seen one of any of the other videos in the past, I'm going to go over it the same. Here is our USB drive. It's the only one that I have installed. Then we have boot selection. We needed to say disk or ISO image. MS-DOS, FreeDOS, non-bootable, not relevant in our use case. We're going to go ahead and click select. And then that should bring us automatically to our downloads folder. We'll double click for PikaOS. And then everything else we're going to leave the same. We're going to leave this alone, and we're just going to click start. And while that goes through, we're just going to wait until everything, oh, there we go. Everything pops up. It's going to warn us that it's going to destroy all the information that's on this disk. If you hadn't backed up everything, now is definitely the last chance. You need to get that backed up someplace else. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And it's going to start writing the image. And just slightly under 5 minutes to get that disk put together. We can go ahead and click close from here. And we're going to keep this open. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this PC. We're going to go ahead and right click and click properties. Now I have 2 drives in this computer. So we need to know a little bit about this drive itself. We're going to click the hardware tab. And we're going to see that this particular drive here is the CT1000 whatever. The other drive is my Samsung drive. Now that's the drive that I install things on, such as Linux for these tutorials. And then we have the Windows environment, which is my daughter's computer, but it would still be something that I would keep running just because, these tutorials. So we're going to go ahead. We know what drive we're looking at, and that's an important thing to look for. So we know when we go and write the PikaOS ISO over to the disk, we're going to do it to the Samsung disk. It's always good to know where you're going, especially when you're just now getting into the idea of Linux. You don't want to wipe and lose everything on your Windows machine. Always do backups. I have 3 terabytes worth of backups. I also create videos, so I kind of need 3 terabytes worth of storage space. Having something that's equivalent to what your needs are as far as a backup is concerned is very important when you're doing something like this, because it is so easy to make a simple mistake that erases everything. All right, now that we have that disclaimer, let's go ahead and install PikaOS. Now I'm going to give this a shot, but there's likely going to be something that editor Moidi puts in up here that says boot keys. That now has to do with your specific motherboard. So if you have an HP motherboard, it's going to be a certain key that you're going to press to get to the boot select menu, where we're going to go ahead and select the USB drive. If you have like a MSI motherboard, then you're going to have a certain, key. If you have an Asus motherboard, it's going to be a certain key. Get the idea? So, but we're going to give something a shot because it generally is effective when I'm not recording. We're going to go over here and press the power button underneath the start menu. And we're going to hold the left shift down and click restart. And we're just going to keep holding and dedicating ourselves to that left shift. It should bring up another menu here in just a moment that allows us to boot from directly to a specific device. It's probably not going to work though, because I'm recording. So. All right, so I realized what my problem was. It's been a little while since I've done any of the install videos, and I found out where my issue was. I forgot that I hardlined it instead of using the Royal Kludge USB RF thing, because it didn't ever want to work here. So anyways, use that device, and if you are so lucky, you will have something like this show up. In my situation, it should be that one. If not, we'll join each other in the same spot. We'll see. Please cooperate. I leave these in for your own entertainment. Hey, look at that. Okay. So once you boot into whatever option it is that gets you to your USB drive, you're going to have this lovely little screen. We're going to go ahead and press enter on this PikaOS part. And then we're going to go ahead and wait while everything sets up. And we'll be right back when that's done, because this portion does take a little while to boot. Now, the reason why it takes a little while to get to this is because it's actually storing a bunch of information, at least as far as my understanding is, inside of a RAM disk. And then this way everything can kind of be quick and easy, and it loads all of its dependencies that it needs into that, so that this way you can actually do the installation from the USB drive. At least that's my understanding. So here's our lovely PikaOS. So install distro to system. Now, this is the one part that caused me a little bit of problem beforehand. Yes, there's this search bar. Somebody did mention that in the comment section on the last video, but having it be automatically where the default would be, or automatically scroll based off of your location or motherboard settings or whatever to where it's currently at, so this way you know that it's selected. That's just my my personal little nitpick, but it's not the end of the world. So next, all right, there are a few things to keep in mind. PikaOS is not affiliated with Debian. Debian is a registered trademark owned by Software in the Public Interest Incorporated. This is a hobby distribution, so we will try our best to provide formal support, but it will not be guaranteed. Although PikaOS might provide identical patches or user experience to Nabarro project, we are not directly part of them. So questions and bug reports should not be sent directly to them if they don't deal with it.
Reading is fundamental.
Then they don't have to deal with it. Alrighty. While installing, the installer is running, do not attempt to interrupt it, or you will end up with a corrupted system. Try to use Pikmin instead of apt when using the terminal. It's much faster. I don't know how I missed that. Oh, Pikmin. Ooh.
Oh my god. Wow.
Wait, okay, sorry. Anyways, you can read things, but then it doesn't always, pop into your head, okay? You understand that now, is it X1 or Z1 drive download needed by binaries locally, and do not directly package or distribute any of the firmware or other related. Okay. Automatic partitioning will format all partitions on a drive. So if you want to dual boot, make a separate EFI partition for PikaOS, and use manual partitioning in case you need the login information for your session. That I did catch the one time. I was like, what the heck is that? I was like, no, never mind. I took a picture. But anyways, we agree. PikaOS is the username. It will be fine. We're not going to need that. It's going to be automatic to my thing, and then it should be in Eastern time zone. US Eastern. Okay. It might have been set for New York. Either way. Okay. Automatically partition the drive. We're not going to teach about manually partitioning drives. Automatically partition the drive. No disk selected. We're going to do the Samsung drive here. Remember that this right here is the drive that our Windows install is on. And you're not going to want to select the USB drive that you're currently loading from. Alrighty. Advanced options. BTRFS. We're going to go ahead and leave that alone. Do we want a sub volume for home? No, I don't want a separate volume. That's just my personal preference. Swap, we're going to leave it with ZRAM. Boot, as we're going to leave all of this alone and not touch any of that. We're good there. Click next, confirm, and install PikaOS. This process is pretty quick. As soon as that's done, I'll be back, and you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but I'll be back. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, I did ask Ferio how to pronounce it, their name. It's Ferio, F-E-R-E-O, Ferio. Ferio. Good Lord, I cannot speak. So that's good to know. And there we go, one by nice and quick. Reboot system. All right, and now we're going to go through the reboot system process here. We're going to deal with the no signal issue that exists with this capture card. I'll just wait. All right. So it does use Refine. So because it uses Refine, this makes things a lot easier. So we have our USB drive that's here. We have our Windows environment, and then we have our PikaOS environment. We're going to go ahead and press enter to enter into our PikaOS environment. And that'll be done in just a moment. And faster than I could ever grab my cup of coffee, we're loaded in. I hope for a little bit longer of a load time. All right. Welcome. This wizard will help you finish your PikaOS installation. Let's get started. Yeah, my internet's fine. Okay, so full name, I'm going to go with Moydee. And we're going to tab up and lowercase M-O-Y-D-E-E, of course. There we go. Host name is archive test because this is my test environment. And password is going to be 1234 because that's what we use for all of our test environments. I recommend that you have a stronger password for yours if you choose to have a password. That being said, I will let you know, this installer will let you screw yourself over by not putting in a password and then you cannot log in. So put a password even if it's 1234. We're just going to make sure that we cover that real quick. Oh yeah, and click reboot. All right, now we're here at our lovely login screen. Now, first things first, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change it off of X11 and I'm going to put it to Wayland. All right, we're going to do 1234 for the password. And it's going to load everything up. All right, now this is the important part. We are gamers here, so we want to get straight to gaming, but there's something to take into consideration here. Thank you for choosing PikaOS. This welcome screen helps guide you through the available resources for PikaOS, as well as help you set up your computer to your liking. Enjoy PikaOS team. All right, setup. This is going to go with updates. Come on. Calculating. All right. Present, available updates, and we're going to commit here for APT and Flatpak upgrades confirm and accept. Now this is going to take a minute because it's doing an update to the system, and it takes a little while to do. We're already halfway done. It's just super long and an arduous process. Actually goes by pretty quick. I like everything that they've done. You can tell that there's a lot of care and love that's been put into this system. It does take a little bit of time, even though I was making a joke there. So we'll be back once those updates are done. It only takes a couple of minutes. It's way faster than doing Windows updates. Oh, wait, look, never mind. All right. And confirm and accept. All right. Everything's done. That's it. It's nice and installed. Okay. If you're going to be doing anything with content creation, you're going to want to install the media codec. In fact, actually, if you're going to do anything like even VLC, you're going to want to install the media codecs and libraries. This is going to be things like FFmpeg. They cannot provide these updates as just part of the base package system. It has to be something that you download yourself. So they give you an easy way to accomplish downloading it yourself, but there's a lot of copyright that's involved in these types of things. So you have to manually install this type of thing yourself. Make a concerted effort on your own to do it. All right, recommended additions. We're going to go through and I'm going to quick install all of these. We're going to do the, this is going to install things like Lutris, Steam, Go Overlay, Mango HUD, Wine Tricks, VK Basalt, the Heroic Games Launcher, and then a bunch of other stuff for like VR and things like controllers. So getting through all of that. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to get Kden Live and Krita, as well as Blender and OBS installed. And we're going to take a look at all of that. So let me go ahead and install all of those, and we'll be right back. It's just like everything else. You just click install, let it run. All right, so here we are. We've got all these packages taken care of. Installation was real quick and easy. It's nothing to write home about. You can go ahead and launch this to do the Pling, to go and download from Pling's website. Different looks and feels. Here's troubleshooting issues, PikaOS wiki. Join their community. Definitely join the Discord. Obviously, they can't guarantee that they're going to provide you any level of support, but it's a great place. They're fantastic. Everybody's really nice. I'm definitely going to stay in there as long as they'll allow me, as well as their Ko-fi page. Contribute, all of that fun jazz. So we're gonna go ahead and restart. I ran into the same thing when I first installed it. I'm not a huge fan of it. So if you're not, if you like this, by all means, perfectly fine. Go ahead and enjoy it. If you right click right here on the little start menu is what you would be. It's called the meta menu, depending on what it is, things like that. And then show alternatives. And I prefer this application launcher, and it's a little bit more, clean looking, doesn't take up the whole screen. I'm personally a fan of it. But then we're going to go over here and click restart, and we're going to restart the system, and we'll be right back when everything's set up. And we're here at the login screen. We're just going to go ahead and log in. In true fashion, I've gotten rid of that. If you don't want this to show up anymore, you can go ahead and turn off show on startup and press the X. If you ever want to see it again, just look for welcome in the search bar there, and it'll be welcome to PikaOS. Now, in true Moidi fashion, we are going to log into our Steam account and download a game, because that's where we leave you off with this. And the next one, we're going to go over some fun stuff. If we take a look over here at this games option, we have Proton Plus, which I'll show you some of that, as well as Heroic Games. I found, thanks to a live stream, that I was quite a fan of Heroic Games. It gave me access to everything that I needed as far as my Good Old Games account was concerned. So I want to go ahead and show that off. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to grab a relatively lightweight game real quick. One thing that we haven't done, right? If we go into Steam and we go to settings and we scroll down to compatibility, I don't know if it's in this specific package or if it's across all of them. I'll have to load it like CachyOS to see. But Valve had announced that they were going to be having compatibility mode be on by default. So we're going to go over here and change this to 9.0-4 and click restart, because the game that I'm going to launch, it does not work well underneath the experimental branch. But in this particular instance, I didn't have to turn on compatibility mode. The games were already there by default, ready to be able to play. So I was very, very impressed with that. If we go over to library, we're going to go ahead and grab a game. Me and the gals have been enjoying this game called Peak. It's a relatively small game. So we're going to go ahead and install that, and we'll load up Peak, show that we can play. And yeah, we'll be off to the races here. I'm really happy with this. PikaOS is where I'm going to be editing this video, because I have barely used my CachyOS system. I've actually been really impressed with how well something like a Debian based system has suited a lot of my needs. I'm still not guaranteed that I'm going to be staying inside of it, just because I do like the bleeding edge of Arch. One particular example is if I do print screen real quick, it brings up the old print screen. With the bleeding edge option for Arch, I have access to the 6.4. In the next video, we're going to be going over a few more things that are in depth. Will actually be on my live environment, my live machine that I've been doing content creation in the past couple of days. So yeah, let's see, pulse input, like microphone. I need my fine. It doesn't matter. This is gonna get wiped. Okay, play offline. We're just gonna do solo, and we'll load up into this game. Everything's been really smooth, really nice, and I have been using CachyOS, the Cachy Proton in my particular install. So I've been really happy with that as well. It's got this nice little balance of the stability of that you find with having like a Debian based system, and the kind of more bleeding edge or a little bit more advancement and like gaming tailor focus of the CachyOS system. So I've been really, really happy with everything that we've had here. So yeah, this is Peak. This is a fun little game. Your whole entire goal is to get up to the top of the mountain. I have never gotten to the top of any of the mountains. We always have shenanigans that ensue. So yeah, but everything runs nice and smooth. It's nice and pretty. So yeah, but that is nevertheless PikaOS. If you would like to change the desktop wallpaper, there are some really, really cool desktop wallpapers inside of this. If you're a fan of like some anime, however you want to pronounce it, and kind of like the Hollow Knight type. Yeah, here we go. Here's a Hollow Knight type, drawing aesthetics and whatnot. These are solid. I am a massive fan of these. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be afraid to dive onto the Rift. Get PikaOS installed. Yeah, hop on into that.